you doing?
Good afternoon, Robert.
Great.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet y'all too. I haven't hugged anybody in my family since 1997, January of 1997, when I got my GED, which is like a high school equivalency. I got that in prison. My mom was able to visit. It was like a contact visit, and I was able to hug my mom then. But I hugged my friend. The last person I hugged was my friend, 1999. I mean, I have a different perspective and approach to living and to life, and I don't worry about what I don't have. I don't concern myself with what I can't have, but with what I do have and with what is here, immediate and present, and that's what gives me peace, My dad was in prison, so my mom, she tried to raise me and my brother and my sister by herself, so it's really tough because she didn't have an education. It was worse when I was younger, but then my dad got out of prison when I was 7 years old, 6, 7 years old, and things got a little better. But we moved a lot. We were always moving. We never stayed in the same place. I think from 86 to 95, when my dad got out of prison to the time that we all three got arrested, we lived in 37 different places, and probably 15 places before that. So I lived in like 50 different places in the first 15 years of my life.
So why was that? Why did you move so often?
Usually just my dad was trying to find work in different places, just different reasons, I know 4 different times we moved because my dad stabbed somebody and we had to get away from the place that where we were at, Usually we would live in like a small trailer home. I don't know if y'all have trailers in Finland, but like a little small trailer house with maybe 2 bedroom, but maybe 15 people living there with us, I was 7 years old. My dad had just got out of prison, and he actually caught me in the garage of my Uncle Bill's house, huffing gasoline out of the gas can, and he beat me up pretty bad for that. And but later that night, he told me, he apologized, hugged me, and said that he smoked a joint with me, and said that he would rather me do that than inhale stuff. I think that he had missed the early years of my life, and so to compensate for those years that he had missed, he tried to be like super cool parent, get high with me, let me drink a beer with them, that type of thing, I didn't realize it, but I was addicted to cocaine when I was a kid, and a lot of the crimes and stuff that I would do would be to go get some more coke, I've been caught 3 times for burglary. I got caught, I actually got convicted 3 different times as a juvenile for burglary. My neighborhood was very violent. That was the way things got settled, usually fist fights and stuff like that, My parents are not the kind of people that should have been raising kids because their maturity level was, they're not very bright people. I don't want to blame them because I made a lot of bad choices that I made, but of course my behavior was definitely influenced and greatly by my environment, my parents, and the thing that I like to say about that is that I just wasn't strong enough to overcome my environment, yeah. And then here comes my brother, and they start wrestling, and they're on the ground, and it all happened real fast. And as they're on the ground, I even tried to kick him one time and kick my brother instead, so I stopped trying to kick him. My dad has come out of the house, and he chased with my brother. They chased him behind the trailer, and it was so dark you couldn't see, but by the time we got to the edge of the trailer, my dad and my brother were already coming back, and they had blood on them, and apparently that's where it happened, back there in the back. But I didn't even see. I wasn't back there where he actually got murdered. my case, they said that I had encouraged my dad to do this, that I had incited him. So I got 99 years for that. I was convicted and sentenced for murder of 9. And my brother got 40 years, and my dad got life. Me and the officer, we did have a little bit of a confrontation as well. It was over me having a sack lunch, which, because I didn't get to eat the regular hot meal because I was getting boots from working in the fields. This man had trouble with everybody, though. I mean, he had trouble with his fellow officers. He had trouble with, he was always having heated conversation, heated exchanges with other inmates. This is on 3 building. This is like 200-300 yards away from where I was at. I was way over here by the gym and the commissary. That was a minor situation between me and this man compared to some of the other stuff that yeah, I was far away from where it actually happened. When I first got sentenced to death, I want to say I was almost apathetic. You know, at that point, you know, I was at a real low point in my life. I knew if they did convict me, they would sentence me to death because I'm already in prison for a murder, and my disciplinary record in prison wasn't great, you know, at all. But I don't think you would find too many young people in prison in Texas with a good disciplinary record because, you know, it's a battleground. It's a battlefield out there. I've grown up a lot since then, you know. I was 22 when I got the death sentence. I'm 36 now. It's totally like night and day from 2002 to now, you know. I've used this experience that you know, being in segregation, being on death row, you know, just all the experiences of being here on death row, watching people die, they've killed over 300 people since I've been here. And a lot of them were friends, people that I've grown close to, people that I loved. Experiences of transcendence, experiences of something that's beyond this, you know. And I feel like that there's a interconnectivity of being in existence, and you know, some of my epiphanies, or whatever you want to call them, aha moments, or, you know, through physics, reading about particle physics, if you know. Yeah, you know, because in particle physics, you know, like quantum field theory, everything is a part of this like big, massive energy, right? And so we're all derived from that, and I don't know.
Do you think it is fair to say that getting to the death row has made your life paradoxically even more meaningful?
I think it has. I know it's people find that hard to believe, you know. People find it hard to believe that I can be positive and, you know, I'm optimistic in this situation and that I could find meaning here, but I totally have. It's a very methodical, plotted out day. Every step is planned, and you come to visit. You get up in the morning. You go to shower if you want to, which I did. I like to shower, and then you go to visit. You come out here. You see your friends and family, and there's like a little booth over here. So it's a little more private than this normal visiting room right here. And you know, for me, it was on the last day last year when I came close to being executed, 2.5 hours. To me, the visits were beautiful, you know, because I felt such power and connection to, you know, not only my friends and family, but just to life. And I think that we had a very beautiful exchange between me and my friends. And So they put me in the van, and everything was extremely intense. It's like any little movement. They wanted me to stay in the very center of this metal bench. They did take my glasses off. They told me I couldn't have my glasses, and everything's a blur to me beyond a few feet. So I could see out the front windshield. I could see through it's mesh like this. So I could see the outline of the bridge, and I could tell that there was water, but everything was such a blur. The last meal before the execution was eggs, potatoes, some biscuits, and it was actually really good. But of course, by the time they brought me the meal, I knew I had to stay. They had just told me like moments before, like maybe 20 minutes before. But my lawyers told me, but the TDC still didn't know, so they were going through with the procedure like, okay, until they get official word, it's on. The execution is still on.
How much do you think about the execution or death?
Not a whole lot. I really don't. I mean, I've had execution dreams. I've had dreams of being executed.
What are they like?
Different. They're different. Sometimes they get stopped. Sometimes I'm laying there and they're pumping the chemicals into me, and it's not working. And I'm laughing with them and telling them that I vibrate on a different frequency and these chemicals don't work on me. But I don't know. Sometimes it's humorous. Sometimes it's really serious, and I'm concerned about my friends and family, and how they would take it and everything. And there has been, my main concern isn't me about being executed. It's how the people that care about me and love me, how they're gonna take it, and hopefully that I can help instill some peace and understanding with them, between now and then, and that's been like my biggest, and so to me that's my biggest concern, because I don't really believe in death. I think that's some illusion of the senses.